Welcome to another episode of Cocktails with Cousins. I'm Erica.
I'm Raina.
And we are here to talk about Porsha Family Matters. It's an extension of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So if you're looking for it, it's with season 13 of the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So we're going to be talking about that this episode. Before we get started, go ahead and hit the like button, because we know that you're going to like the episode. Make sure that you subscribe so you never miss an episode, and then share it with other people so they don't miss episodes either. All right, so before we get started, I feel compelled to give you some type of background. So Porsha was a previous cast member on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. She won't be returning for season 14. I think primarily because she's doing this, this with her family. The series is called Porsha Family Matters, and it follows Porsha after her recent engagement to her fiance, Simon. And it's talking about how Simon, and Dennis, the father of her daughter, are working to blend their families together so that they can have a cohesive co-parenting relationship for their daughter. Along for the journey, they have brought along Porsha's aunts and cousins, and it's been a hoot and holler since it started. The most recent episode, they are on a vacation in Mexico, and that's what we're going to be talking about. So I can't wait to get started. Let's jump right on in. So this episode starts with them being at dinner, and so it is Porsha, the father of her child, Dennis, her fiance, Simon, and then her cousins, her aunties. It's so many of them, y'all. I'm trying to learn names. It's hard learning somebody's family, but her aunties and her cousins, and then some of her assistants. So they are there having dinner, and it was a whole lot of everything going on in that first scene when they're at dinner. What did you think of that part of the episode?
Ooh, it's a lot. So I'll go back a little bit. So basically, when Dennis and Porsha were living together, when Dennis was living with Porsha, he had left a Versace robe there.
Yes.
Well, she refuses to give it back to Dennis for whatever reason. I really don't understand why she's holding on to it. So basically, Dennis made a deal with Lauren, Porsha's half sister, saying if he came, because Porsha wanted Dennis to be there, right? Because it's about them co-parenting Pilar, and it's like dealing with the family, whatever. So Dennis was just like, "Where's my robe? I want my robe. If you give me my robe, I'll go." That was the deal. So Lauren and cousin Londi went to Porsha's, stole Dennis's Versace robe out of Porsha's house, and took it along with some furs that he left, and they took it to Dennis. And so now, of course, they kept it so that to ensure that he would make it to Mexico first, right?
Yeah.
So they get there and they give it to her ex-assistant, who I don't know why is on the show, but he was there. He's on the trip. Yeah. And he makes a comment to Porsha saying, "Why they got me carrying your baby daddy's robe?" And so Porsha, who had no idea that the robe was even not even in her possession anymore, brings it up at dinner, right? Yes. So that's where this episode starts, and it's kind of heated, and Porsha kind of goes off because she feels like Dennis should have come for genuine reasons to better, the co-parenting situation for his daughter Pilar.
Yeah.
Not for
the road.
Right. So that was a whole issue. And so it's kind of a screaming match at this point. And Lauren she's the leader of this whole trip. She's the one who put everything together. So Lauren was like, "Stop pointing fingers, stop throwing blame.
Yeah.
I don't want to hear about this robe anymore. I'm done. If you say robe again, leave."
Yeah, exactly. And poor Lena, her little, I guess her mentor is probably off to the side, like, what in the world did I get myself
into? I said the exact same thing. I mean, me personally, I don't like when families go on trips and they show their ass.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing.
It is very much so. But let's go back, because I mean, if we didn't tackle this elephant in the room, then we would not be doing this show any justice. What is up with Porsha not wanting to give him back that suit, that the Versace, the robe and the furs and what I think it was a Versace suit or something like. What is that? Like, I need to kind of understand that and unpack that, because to me, y'all not married, not engaged anymore. Y'all not in a relationship anymore. He doesn't live in your home anymore, and you got a whole fiance. Why are you holding on to his stuff? Like, make it make sense for me.
She's still in love with him, low key.
I think so too. And for the fact that he is like, I want my robe, because I mean, it's not like he is begging for money. Like, those hot dog shops have been popping up all over Atlanta since he has on the Real Housewives of Atlanta. So he could just go buy another robe. And that's what I would do if that was my ex. I'd be like, you know what? Keep the robe. It's yours. I won't never have to talk about it again. You don't want to give it to me? That's fine. I don't want it. But they keep going back and forth about this robe.
They still love each other.
Yeah, like that's a whole hot mess. And Simon, her fiance, brings it up later on in the episode, but I'm gonna leave that for later on in the episode. But I need both of them to stop talking about this doggone robe. It makes no sense.
None whatsoever. And so Porsha does apologize, right? She does apologize. And so they start, what's the girl? The one who's helped Lauren's mentor.
Lena.
Yes. You said Alina?
Lena.
I'm sorry. Okay. So Lena has this throat chakra stick. So whoever's holding the stick, it's their time to talk, right? Yeah. So she passes the stick, and Aunt Darlene, Porsha's aunt, takes it, and she starts off talking about how beautiful her feet are. I was so lost.
I was like, did she say her feet?
And then starts crying at that.
I mean, she was serious.
Very.
Very serious, talking about how beautiful her feet were.
Right. And how people were used to talk about how she had Flintstone feet. I'm like, this is not the time nor place, but okay. Whatever.
Yeah. If that's what you're getting away from this situation. Right. But then she did go on to talk about her rocky relationship with her daughter Storm, who was sitting at the table, and whoo, honey, then that's when stuff kind of start, getting to a point where you're like, hold on, here comes everybody's family drama. You know how like that drama that every family has, like you try to keep under the table, but then you go somewhere maybe and something happens. Like that opened up a whole door.
Can of worms.
About Storm. I said her name wrong. Mm-hmm. And then what about that aunt who was like, I thought we was here to make the family, but I don't know.
She said, I forgot why I even came here. Like, I don't even know who you are. Y'all are not my family.
Exactly. I said, okay, auntie. She said, I don't know y'all folks, and I ain't trying to be with y'all.
Especially the way they're acting, and I don't blame her. And, Porsha kind of cleared it up. She's like, well, this is my family, and we're trying to blend the family. So I'm glad she did clear that up, because I wanted her to say that out loud so she remembered why they're there.
Exactly. Right. Well, Dennis said that too. He said the family was broken, and he wants to, basically get better at the co-parenting.
Right.
And then, his mom got up and left. She said it was because she's allergic to shellfish. But I'm like, that's what EpiPens are for. I mean, if you're allergic to something, I'm almost certain that you have an EpiPen with you.
Let me be honest. I'm kind of glad she did walk away, because she tends to be messy and just snappy. So
this is true.
I'm glad she did get up and walk away, because Mama Gina never has anything nice to say. So
yeah, but that didn't stop her, because didn't she come back? And
she did, and Dennis had to. So what happened was Dennis got into it with Storm, because they previously had a working relationship where she used to be one of the hostesses for his restaurant. Yeah, and he fired her. She claimed he was like flirting and this and that. I don't know. But whatever the backstory is, it doesn't matter. She seems very immature. She's very, what's the word? She seems so explosive. Like, she's very confrontational.
Yeah.
That type of vibe.
Yeah, no, definitely. She definitely immature is definitely a good word for that. She has not learned how to control her anger. Because she still feels like almost like middle schoolers. I've been there before with middle schoolers. I know. She is almost like when you get upset and everything has to come out at that one time. That's how she was in this situation. But this is another elephant in the room for me, because I felt like it was way too much energy going into her and Dennis arguing. If she used to work for you and you had to fire her, fine. But for the fact that he said he had to fire her several times, why did you hire her back? If you fire her one time, she wasn't good enough for you the first time. What did you invite her back for?
Right. Great point.
It kind of made me think like, Storm be explosive in her anger, but like she might have some valid reasons to be angry.
Maybe so. But here's what I did not understand, because Dennis had the stick, which means Dennis has the floor. Yes. Right. And while he's talking, Storm is interrupting, yelling, shouting, saying things about Dennis. So I feel like everybody, or at least Lauren, who was in control of this event, should have been telling Storm to like be quiet. Yeah, right. Exactly. Because when it was someone else's turn to talk, it may have been Storm. When Dennis made a comment, they say, nope, she has the floor. You need to hush. Yeah. But now when he had the floor, nobody said anything for Dennis. Nobody spoke up for him. So he kept telling Storm to be quiet. She did not be quiet. He snapped and told her to shut the F up. He did. And then all of a sudden, Porsha and Lauren was like, you don't talk to girls like that. You don't da-da-da-da-da. I'm like, where was that energy when Storm was interrupting him? And see, that's what I was like, Storm was wrong. Absolutely. I think Storm was wrong, because if he had the stick, then he had the floor, like you said. But that, I feel like it's more to that story that we're not getting all of it from, because for even with her being immature, she is being immature, but with the immaturity, I feel like when someone has that type of mentality, they may not know how to get across what they're trying to say. And that's why it comes out as angry or, what upset. Sometimes people cry in those types of situations. Where it was just screaming and yelling. But I feel like there is some truth there. And she feels as if that's the only way that she can get it out. So other people know what was going on. Maybe so. I don't know. I'm probably digging there, but I don't know. But pay attention now. Porsha was always like, in defensive mode when it came to Storm. She would always go to her, go to bat for her. And Dennis was fed up. He's like, you know what? I'm done. I'm leaving. Bye. And that's when he got up and left, and the mama tried to get back, and he's like, he literally grabbed her by the arm, said, nah, turn around. This ain't got nothing to do with you. Let's go. He's like, go ahead on now. I don't have time for this. Right. And you know what? I'm kind of glad he did, because he knows when to leave, right? Yeah. He probably should have gotten up a little bit earlier, even. He probably before that explosion. Yeah. But Porsha, she just blamed the whole thing on Dennis. So did Lauren, as in Lauren. And I was like, this is a little biased, I could see why he would have wanted Mama Gina to come, because they tend to gang up on him. This is true. Well, then, and then somebody mentioned that Storm thinks that she's Porsha, and that's why she goes off on the tangent, because according to the show, Porsha is like the head of the family, or the person that gets the most attention, and then like it trickled down from there. So I guess Storm is like trying to make a name for herself, maybe. I don't know. But they did make mention to that. But what happened after that is that Lauren, the two Laurens, the assistant and the sister, and Londi were talking, and Londi was like, I should have told her to shut the F up. There you go. Because I said the same thing. I was like, you're right. You should have told that girl to shut the F up because
oh my God,
she was out of line. In my
opinion,
she was way out of line.
Yeah, she was like all over the place.
She's disrespectful. Like, as young as she is, like, and I'm not saying Dennis is her elder, but like, she literally does not have, she's talking to grown folk, like, no respect whatsoever.
Yeah, none. She had none whatsoever.
She got up. Remember, she got up and was telling Londi, "What you gonna do? What you gonna do?" Like being
exactly.
like she wanted to fight her. And I'm like, this is not the time or place, sweetie. We are in a restaurant.
Yeah,
that's not how you act.
It doesn't matter if we're in another country or not. Like, this is being filmed.
Right.
Could you put some respect on everybody?
Everybody. But back to what you were saying, the three of them having a conversation.
Yeah, so no, they were talking about that. But and then to add to what we were just saying, Londi said that Storm does stuff like that all the time, because she said the few weeks before, when they were at Porsha's 40th birthday party, she came in and she didn't speak, and Londi was like, "Oh, you're not gonna speak?" And Storm was like, had an attitude at that time too. So I mean, I don't know, this Storm child seems like she needs some therapy.
They should have never named her Storm.
Yeah. Well, that's part. Look, that, speaking manifestation, right?
Right.
But anywho, so it was Lauren, and Londi, and they were in the room. I don't know whose room it was. Lauren, maybe the Lauren.
It was the assistant Lauren's room.
Yeah. And they were going to end up giving that to Dennis because he wanted his own room. And I guess for me, I couldn't understand why the sister put him in the room with two other women in the first place. Like, he's not dating either one of y'all. Why are y'all in the room with him?
So Lauren, she said she specifically put him in a room with her so that she could keep an eye on him, so that he won't. But here's the thing: he is a grown man. He is a single man who can do whatever he wants to do. It is not your place to keep your eye on him, right? Your sister has a whole fiance.
A whole one.
Why are you worried about Dennis?
But then,
why is anybody worried about Dennis?
And then she made the statement on something about her brother-in-law. I was like, no, boo, but they're not together anymore. So you're not keeping.
I'm glad you caught that, because I said the same thing. What is it? He was saying, yeah, you couldn't even. Dennis said to Lauren, he said, yeah, you couldn't even control everybody when this was your event. You're the one in control. She's like, no, I couldn't control my brother-in-law. And I was like, that is not your brother-in-law.
That is not. He was never your brother-in-law. How about that? Because y'all never got married.
They never made it.
Yeah,
that's right.
It's like she's trying to hold him for when it's time for them to get back together, because they're not over each other. But then, hold on, wait. So then, okay, so the whole reason why he was in there, so she could keep track of him, right? So it's his own room, and then he's talking to a girl. Why is the girl's name called Potential Work? Did you catch that?
I caught that. Even in his text message, it's Potential Work. Even when they introduced her, when they showed her, they said Potential Work. It said Dennis's Potential Work. And I'm like, does she not have a name?
I'm like, can you give us some initials or something?
Something. That seemed kind of disrespectful to me, but
it did. I was like, dang, girl, you ain't even worthy of some initials or nothing. Potential Work. And then he gonna lie to us. Yeah, come on, I got a suite. Oh no, you didn't. The show.
Right, you did not pay for this suite.
You did not pay for this suite. Oh goodness. But then they went to Porsha and Simon talking, and Simon was trying to figure out all the same things too, because he said that dinner was a shit show.
It was. But you know what? He was like, I want Dennis to stay because I want us to be able to be on the same page with this co-parenting thing. So I want to get to know him so that we can be on the same page. So I felt that his intentions are right on point. They're on key. Yeah. He's there for the right reasons.
He is. Yep. And he also said, I need you to pack up all his stuff and send it.
Right. And make sure he gets it. Which rightfully so. I would be concerned if I was sounding like, why are you holding on to his things? Like for what?
I would definitely be asking that. He even mentioned that he said that it's never been a problem with him when it comes to his exes. He usually has a moving company on standby, ready.
Right. You heard Dennis with the shade, right? He was like, Porsha better watch out.
Well, and you know what? It's funny. We didn't mention this, but in the early episodes of this season, they were talking about them going to look for a house in Buckhead. Now, for those of you who are not from Atlanta, Buckhead is like the to-do place to live or whatever. She lives in the outer part of the city, somewhere called Duluth, which is in the metro area, but is not Buckhead. And when that was a problem with her and Dennis's relationship, because Dennis wanted her to move closer to the city because Duluth is like in traffic, like 2 hours away from the city of Atlanta. And he was like, my business is downtown. I need to be closer. And she was like steadfast in being in Duluth. And here it is with her new fiance. They're out in Buckhead looking for, properties to move to, because Simon said, what you're not going to do is move me into the house where you and your old fiance were.
I know that's right. I know that's right.
He said, put some respect on his name.
Right.
Exactly. The other part that I found was interesting in their conversation was, did you hear what he said about Mama Gina?
That she need to stay out their effing business.
He did. He said somebody need to tell her to mind her business.
Mind her business. That's right. Yep. So
put her in her place now. Yeah. Oh my goodness.
He said that, and he made sure to reiterate that at breakfast with
he did.
And you know what? That was such a cordial breakfast. Like, to me, they seem like the only ones who's on the same page, right? They're both there. Well, Dennis.
Yeah.
It's right fine. He's there for the right reasons.
Yes.
Right. They're on the same page. They understand each other, and that's what matters. So
exactly. I put down that they both understood the assignment.
They understood the assignment. That's right.
Mm-hmm. Oh my goodness. But hold on, wait. And then he went back to his mama again, because he said, Mama Gina needs some encouragement.
Yeah. He did. He said that. But Dennis was right. He was like, no, sometimes he got to tell his mom, between me and Porsha, you stay out of it. And I'm glad it came out of his mouth. I'm happy to hear that he does put his mom in her place. Yeah. Because he may not do it in front of camera, but he does it, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, that's good. That's definitely good. I think that anybody who watches the Real Housewives of Atlanta would know that when they entered the scene, that mom was like, she was all over the place, because she asked Porsha in one episode, she was like, do you want to be a wife or do you want to be a baby mama or whatever? Like, so she definitely has a problem with boundaries.
Definitely. Oh my goodness. Yeah. But you heard Dennis put in a request with Simon. He was like, will you please get my robe back? Like, I just want my robe back.
Exactly. And look, and I know Simon was like, I already told her to pack your stuff and send it to
That's right.
Because this is not going to continue to be a conversation. But I just think it's so disrespectful.
It is. I mean, I don't understand why. I mean, it's almost as if she's using it like for control to like still have him come around. Yeah. I mean, he's already coming around for Pilar, but it's like she likes for him to be chasing her or something.
Mm-hmm.
That
doesn't sound favorable to her fiance.
He's gonna put his foot down one day. I know right now he's just observing and taking it all in, but it's coming.
Oh, but he's pulling some breadcrumbs now. That is not without a notice.
He did also tell Simon to let Porsha know that he may be bringing a date. So,
and Simon was like,
cool. Yeah. So Simon knows now.
No.
Simon knows.
Unfortunately, I'm going to say it like this. Unfortunately, I feel like he is in the middle of some mess. Like, he has engaged and proposed to this woman who is not over her ex. and they are like going back and forth with each other in his face. But because Simon knows how to detach himself from a situation, he'll be just fine.
Yeah, he's fine.
Yeah, he'll be fine. He's an older gentleman that kind of knows, like, you know, I think he has a mentality that women come and go. Porsha is it right now. She can quickly get the axe. Unfortunately for Porsha.
I mean, he ain't wrong. Yeah. Yeah, she better play her cards right, because there's no need for him to keep you. And I'm not saying that in a negative way. It's like you're showing the side of you that still have feelings for Dennis.
Mm-hmm.
And so by saying that, like, I don't see why he shouldn't. I'm not saying get rid of you, but like, he has every right to walk away.
Yeah.
Because that's what she's portraying. Like, she, like, a slight bit of jealousy. She's still kind of attached to Dennis. I can't blame Simon if he does walk. That's all I'm saying.
I can't blame him either, because I mean, it doesn't take a blind man to see the situation that they're in.
Not at all. No.
Yeah, not at all. Well, then the next morning not that next morning, that same morning, some of the group goes to do some yoga, some meditation. But Porsha didn't even come. Like, I thought they were supposed to come to get their energy together as a family, and Porsha just skipped the whole meditation activity. I'm like, what in the world is going on? Yeah, but Dennis came.
Lauren, Londi, and the Aunt Darlene.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was good.
It was interesting. I thought it was sweet that he said that he wanted them to keep Mama Gina in mind, because she was attached to their family. And, you know, I mean, she will be attached to their family, you know, whether she is there as, you know, whatever. Yeah, because of her granddaughter. So, you know, I think that it is admirable of the family to want to try to include her in the, you know, in the whole family situation or whatever. But moving right along, because yoga was short and not really relevant to the whole episode, but I think those are some good points to bring up. So next up, they're talking about the fact that Dennis has this potential work that is coming.
I think her name is Erica.
The girl?
Yeah, the girl. Oh, the potential work.
The potential work. She got to be.
Oh, no, not you. I'm not talking about you.
It's not me. Yeah, it's not me. I'm not the potential work. Yes, I'm in Atlanta, but I got myself, so it's not me.
Yeah. I thought that was funny.
That was hilarious. I didn't know that. But then they were like, Porsha was going to be sharpening her knives when she found out that he was bringing a date. What did you think of that statement?
Again, unnecessary. Like, for what? You have a whole fiance, girl. You about to get married. Why are you worried about this and in his business? That's not your business anymore.
Not your business.
It's one thing if he's like bringing her around Pilar, the daughter, but that's not what this is even about. Like, you just mad that she came to Mexico. Like, you don't own Mexico. She can come to Mexico.
Exactly. Like, what in the world? And then what were they? They were going to the jungle. What did you say that was called? They were going
Cenote.
Okay. Go ahead. You explain that to the people.
It's like a old it said sinkhole, but it's just like this deep hole filled with water, right?
Okay.
But this particular one that they went to is like an old Mayan cenote. And back in the day, apparently they made sacrifices. So there are like limbs and body parts at the bottom of it. And it's like about 212 feet deep.
Oh, wow.
So I don't know why people are jumping into this thing. I sure wouldn't, but hey, leave their own.
That's 212. What'd you say? 212 something of 212 feet, right? Of danger.
Yeah, right. Exactly. And so basically they're going to do this activity where they release and let go of something. Okay. And then they jump into the water to cleanse them of what they're letting go.
Okay.
Yeah.
Look, so what did you think of them letting go of things?
Darlene had a whole breakthrough so basically Aunt Darlene started crying and was saying how she wants to let go of, basically she gave a backstory of how she wasn't there for her daughter Storm. And so she broke down crying and she's like, I just want a hug. And Storm's like, I'm not a hugger though. And she's like, neither am I, but I just want a hug. And she started breaking down. And as Storm got closer to her, she had a whole breakthrough. Like, I was like, okay. And even Storm was like, okay, I can't.
Yeah, I couldn't either. She was like, ah!
Right.
So like, dramatic.
Like, did you catch the Holy Ghost? What is going on? I was confused.
I was very, very confused. I also thought, because when she was like, well, Storm was like, I'm not really a hugger. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, y'all have so much stuff to unpack with each other. It's not even funny. Like, I don't know how the tension grew between them, because they didn't get into that part. But I say this all the time. They need some therapy.
Hey, therapy is the solution, people. Okay. Like, if you think you don't need therapy, you need therapy.
Exactly. Because they were like going through it. But if I was Storm, I wouldn't have been able to with Darlene in that situation either, because she was a whole mess.
It's overly dramatic for sure.
Mm-hmm, yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, Mama Gina asked for forgiveness. She did.
But she was very vague about it too. She was not specific. She knew who she offended.
Yeah. And
Porsha.
She said who she offended and how she offended that person. She was just like, give me forgiveness.
Get right. And so, and she cried tears, her little crocodile tears. And Dennis made it a point to say, I'm proud of everyone, but especially Mama Gina for doing this. So maybe he knows her in a way where she's not the type to apologize. Period. Yeah. So for that little bit of half apology, it was something. Right?
Right.
Yeah. So that's probably what that was. But Porsha was not hearing it. She was not here for it. She was like, so yeah, she and I had an issue when we went to our little luncheon, and she said some things that was very hurtful. So I'm not in a place to forgive yet.
And that's all right. Just because somebody offer you a half apology don't mean you got to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Now, apparently, Lauren, when Porsha was talking, Lauren's toes was all curled up, and she felt some type of way because her issue is with Porsha, because she felt that she was undervalued when working for Porsha back in the day.
She's still undervalued with Porsha. I don't think Porsha gives her the respect that she's owed. Like, they own a company together, for one. Let's start there. And you working as your assistant. Like, I don't think she respects her like that. And I don't think it's fair to Lauren for her to have to, like, I get that Porsha is supposed to be the head of her family, but Porsha, you not no elder. Like, you not your grandma. No, like, so you're gonna have to give people the respect that you want them to give you, or you think that it's owed. And I haven't received from her that she is expecting it to be that way, but the way everybody talked, it's like that's the way it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
It's any sense or whatever. But I don't think she respects Lauren the way that she should either.
I don't. And I think it's, business is tricky with family anyways. Sometimes business works well with family, but other times not so much. And so if you know that, I think you should just respect the fact that y'all are sisters and only sisters and leave it at that.
Yeah, exactly. So, and then even when it comes to their business, I don't know. Lauren is just so quiet. I think it's in her nature to be more reserved and quiet. And I think that we're seeing through this series that she's starting to kind of, speak for herself, which I think is good, because you have to advocate for yourself, because if you don't, like, nobody else is going to do it for you. But it's definitely some growth that could go there. And I don't know if it has anything to do with the relationship that each one of them had with their dad, because the same dad and different moms. And Porsha talks about how like basically her relationship with her dad was not like Lauren's. Lauren has all these great memories that Porsha and her mom says that, you know, Porsha didn't get afforded. And so it may be some underlying tension between, you know, from that back history or whatever that we don't know, you know, the full story of. Maybe that's why she doesn't seem to respect Lauren much.
Yeah, and if that is the case, it's not fair to Lauren because she didn't ask for that to happen.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Definitely some unpacking there. But tell me about this rooftop dinner, honey, because after the sinkhole, or the ceviche that you said they was doing,
Mm-hmm.
so I said it wrong.
It's okay.
What?
Cenote. Good.
Cenote. What happened at this rooftop dinner?
Oh, so Lauren pulls Porsha for a sidebar.
Okay.
That Dennis brought a date. Yes. And, you know, Porsha goes straight into, you know, his mom is just so messy and, I mean, toxic, and he's so toxic. And it's like, that has nothing to do with the situation at hand.
No.
Let that man be single and enjoy himself.
And mingle.
Right, single and mingle. That's right, there you go. Like, if he brought a date, so what? Right?
Exactly.
And so they go back to dinner. In the meantime, Dennis's mom, Mama Gina, shows up, and she's of course letting everybody at the table know that Dennis brought a date. And someone said, "Is he coming to dinner with her?" And she was like, "Oh no, it's her birthday. He's taking her out." Which I would have been. I'm not gonna lie. I would have thought that was a little bit messy had Dennis brought her to dinner.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely would have been a missed sandwich.
Right. But he did the right thing. He took her elsewhere. Great. Now, during this dinner, Storm kind of opens up about a previous relationship that she was in for a few years that was abusive.
Okay.
And while being vulnerable and opening up to everyone, mid-sentence, like Londi interrupts Storm.
Did you tell her to shut the F up?
Basically. So she was like, "So it's funny how you're talking about this." And she's like, "What? Why? The other night at dinner, you stood up and was like, 'What you gonna do? What you gonna do?' Right? Like confrontational." And so she just found it funny how Storm is talking about this abusive relationship, yet she's very confrontational and like wants to fight. Right? She just felt like that was kind of like contradicting. So, excuse me. Porsha then interrupts and kind of takes up for Storm again. And she was like, "Lonnie, that's so rude. She's talking about her abusive relationship and you're over here interrupting." And there was a sidebar happening while Porsha was talking with the assistant Lauren, telling her sister Lauren, like, "Yeah, how dare you talk about your abusive relationship, yet you over here want to fight somebody." And Porsha was like, "See, that's inappropriate. Like, you shouldn't even be having this conversation, blah, blah, blah." So it just, argument started back up again. It's like inevitable with this family. It's always some type of confrontation, some type of argument at dinner. Never fails.
Without fail.
And that's how that ended. So,
well, and then I guess my question is, well, why can't she talk about being in an abusive relationship? It don't matter that she argumentative. If she was in an abusive relationship, I feel like she has just cause to be able to express her trauma about that relationship, regardless if she mad or angry.
Yeah, I mean, there's clearly an issue between Storm and Londi.
Yes, clearly.
And that's what they should have got to the bottom of at the cenote and hash that out.
Yeah.
But it carried on to dinner. So, you know, I just hope that they get to a better place and they can put their differences aside, get to know one another, whatever, because the vibe, the energy is not good at all.
Yeah, that dinner is, was it over 2?
It was definitely over.
Yeah, like what in the world? And then next episode, gosh, what in the world is going on with, was it Dennis and his mama again?
Yes. It looks to me it's dinner again.
Let me tell you something. They are eating for sure. Or not, because I don't even know if they get a meal in.
I don't know who, I believe, so there's an ex-assistant. It was a guy.
Okay.
The one who was carrying the robe.
Oh, yeah. What was his name? Dom.
Dom. I like your way of
went
thinking.
Around the world.
Right. Well, Dom, he was saying something, and Dennis, whatever he was saying, Dennis was like, why are you coming for me? Leave me and my business alone. Like, stay out my stuff. And he said something again, and I don't know what it was, but Dennis snapped. And they got into it. I don't know who was fighting. I just know there was a brawl, and it was bodies everywhere. And
oh my God. Didn't Dom start that stuff at the first dinner too?
Yes, he's the one who was like going to Porsha about, why am I carrying your baby daddy's robe? Like, who told you to say that? Just keep it out.
Oh gosh. Like, you know, it was supposed to be a secret, sir. You going to mess up or what you call it. Yeah. I mean, I can't. I want to see who was fighting. Like, what's
too? But what Porsha yelled out, she said, "Get him," talking about Dennis, his slut and his mama out of here.
Oh goodness! Potential work came around.
Potential work showed up.
Ay. Well, it sounds like this next episode is going to be right on the money, and it's going to be we need to check out and talk about, because I need to see that. Now, what I hope they don't do, you know how they always do, is drag it on until it goes to another episode. And when they do that, that's not fair. Like,
it's not.
Well, if you guys want to hear about what happens at this dinner and everything it has to unfold, you got to come back again. So go ahead. If you haven't already, hit like on the episode. Make sure you subscribe to our channel so the next time we post, you can get it first, and then share content with somebody else, because we want them to hear the gossip too. Until next time, we will see you. We'll be talking about Real Housewives of Atlanta, Porsha Family Matters, this season series that they have going on, and we want you guys to be here too. All right, until next time, bye.
Bye.